Conspiracy theories. From Colorado's airport actually belonging to the Illuminati, to Oklahoma's supposed aliens whose victims are cows, to even a veil between worlds existing in Vermont's Bennington Triangle, and Hawaii being home of a secret government base where no one is allowed in. Which conspiracy comes from your state? And to all my non-American viewers, which conspiracy theory that we're going to talk about today sounds the most realistic? Today, I welcome you all to put on your tinfoil hats and join me as we take a look at one conspiracy theory from every state. Hey guys, how's it going? Today I'm wearing a beanie because my hair looks disgusting. I need a haircut. I need a freaking haircut. And once again, just like the ages 1 to 100 videos, this video took a long time. And I usually don't ask for likes at the beginning of my videos, but since I'm making so many long videos with these concepts, I feel like I'm starting to say it more often. But it'd be awesome if you could leave a like. Maybe not even now, just whenever, you know, like just hopefully you do it. If you're not subscribed, don't even worry about that. I'll earn your subscription by the end of this video. And I do have one amazing announcement. That is that my cartoon is finally coming out on this channel. My cartoon is named Two Gay Cats. It's about two college students who meet again after previously dating in high school. I voiced one of them, and it's premiering here on this channel on November 8th at 12 p.m. PST. You should ring the bell on the premiere. You'll be notified whenever that comes out. I've seen some people like, it's too woke. Why you gotta make it about gay people? Them being gay has like nothing to do with the concept. Personally, as part of the LGBT, I just wanted to make a cool show. I'm not gonna lie, I've seen some shows that really emphasize a gay character. So I really wanted to make these guys more nonchalant. just very, I don't wanna say the word normal. That's not the word I'm gonna use, but very nonchalant. And I know that it's a funny juxtaposition. It's named Two Gay Cats. It has gay in the title. It seems like it's forcing it on you. No, I just wanted to make a show that was less stigmatizing to gay characters because I feel like a lot of gay characters don't get good treatment. They're very like, look guys, it seems like the directors or writers make a gay character just to be like, guys, look, a gay character, LGBT, can you guys be fans of us? Like, I just always felt that. So I wanted to make a more nonchalant show. I'm explaining that a little bit too much, but you guys can support the show on Patreon. That'll be developed later when the episode comes out. But there's going to be perks such as being in the show, having your voice as a little cameo, being drawn as a cat as a standalone image. Stay tuned for that. And to everyone that just skipped that intro chapter, I see y'all. But anyway, let's get started with the topic. Washington. Cobain's death wasn't natural. Alright, so since we're going to be talking about conspiracy theories, I need to reiterate that they are just that. Conspiracy theories. Nothing's been proven true. It's just theories. I just want to make that clear. I don't want someone to be like, well, Tuv, why do you believe that? I don't. We're talking about theories here. Conspiracy theories. And yes, we're going to be doing the order that I always do. If you look at the US map, which is on the screen right now, it is from top to bottom, left to right. We're going to go in columns. And that's really it. Let's get started with Washington. Kurt Donald Cobain was an American musician born on February 20th, 1967, and well known for being a founding member of the grunge band Nirvana, widely recognized as one of the most influential alternative rock musicians. He was found dead in his Seattle home in 1994, with the death being ruled as a... However, conspiracy theorists have long speculated that Cobain's death wasn't exactly a self-exit, but rather part of a more sinister plot, especially after proven inconsistencies in his autopsy report. As in many cases, immediate family members or lovers are always first suspects when it comes to homicide, which led to fingers directly pointing to his wife's involvement, Courtney Love. Some believe that she had a role to play in his death, with evidence tying her to her husband's suspected murder. Kurt was allegedly unhappy with their marriage and wanted to divorce Courtney, hence presenting a clear motive on her end. Because of the prenuptial agreements, if Kurt divorced her, she was to lose everything. But with him dying, she would gain everything, including rights to the music. Despite police maintaining their official ruling of death to be... Many fans still suspect Courtney's involvement, especially after private investigator Grant suggested murder as a possibility and Cobain's own grandfather suspecting his grandson's, quote, mysterious... Oregon. Gold in Oregon mountains. According to local legend, in the early 1900s, a party of gold miners discovered a rich vein of gold while exploring in Mount Hood National Forest. According to the account, the miners were ambushed by a group of outlaws who grabbed their gold and buried it somewhere in the mountain without a trace. Over the years, treasure seekers and amateur sleuths have come to Mount Hood in pursuit of this legendary gold. Some allege that the riches are guarded by supernatural forces or buried behind complex traps set by the criminals. The myths about the treasure have become Oregon folklore, with many maps and clues appearing over time, each claiming to lead to the famous loot. Despite countless tries, no one has ever found the treasure, and many skeptics believe that it was never real in the first place. Those skeptics are probably normal people with normal thinking patterns, because what group of bandits is gonna steal the gold and just bury it? They're just gonna bury it. They're not gonna run away with it, they're gonna bury it. Whatever. You could argue that they were gonna come back for it later. Something like that. However, believers point to the mountain's inaccessible, harsh terrain and history of unclaimed wealth as proof that the treasure is still out there, waiting to be discovered. California. Moon landing happened in a studio, and Michael Jackson didn't actually die. So, my fellow Californians, for California, we actually have two. The reason we have two is not because I live here and I just wanted to be like cool for us. It's literally because these two aren't that strong. These two aren't that strong, so I decided to give you guys two. One of the most famous conspiracy theories tied to California is that the moon landing was faked and allegedly Apollo 11 never actually happened. In short, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin never took their first steps on the moon on the 21st of July 1969 as is claimed. Among the theories discrediting this historic moment include the supposed inconsistencies in the moon landing footage, such as a flag appearing to flutter in a vacuum, since there was technically no wind and shadows that seemed to contradict the lighting conditions. Theorists argue that if the sun were truly the only source of light, then the shadows should have been parallel, which they were not. Hence, the whole occurrence could have possibly been produced in a studio setup. Others claim that there were no stars in the pictures taken of the moon, proving that it was staged since stars are expected to be seen while in space. Some also argue that the astronauts couldn't have possibly survived the Earth's radiation field, known as the Von Allen radiation belt. It would have been harmful enough to kill them. Now NASA has actually addressed all of these theories and have proven that in fact, yes, humans did land on the moon, but theorists still don't believe it. And where does California come in? Well, like I said, these two theories, the next one I'm going to talk about as well, aren't that strong, because I'm just assuming on this part of the theory that it was probably filmed somewhere in Hollywood. I mean, it's California, Los Angeles, it only makes sense. Yes, it could have been anywhere else, but that's why we have another theory, part of California, to satisfy you guys. NASA is in DC though, so you could also argue that it could have been faked there, but it literally could have been faked anywhere, just assuming because Hollywood, whatever. Anyway, one more concern for the conspiracists is why did we, quote, stop traveling to the moon after the Apollo missions were canceled? End quote. Now for our second one, we have one including the greatest singer of all time, the king of pop, Michael Jackson. Seriously, he was the best singer of all time and still is. The closest second place I could think of is Freddie Mercury, but Michael Jackson is the GOAT. I could argue about that all day. Does anyone compete with Michael Jackson? Let me know. Does anyone? I don't even think anyone touches him. I don't think anyone touches Michael. Anyway, this theory involves another person by the name Dave. And that is, Michael and Dave were the same person. Though there are many pictures of them together, which completely diminishes this theory, so why am I talking about it? Well, it's a popular theory that theorists were trying to make play out back in the day. As a lot of us know, Michael Jackson didn't have a good upbringing at all. Being forced to sing and dance with his siblings as his abusive father made profit and treated them like slaves rather than children. This caused Michael to develop a soft spot for children, treating them as he was never treated when he needed an adult the most. On March 3rd of 1983, a then 24-year-old Michael heard news of a 6-year-old boy who had 90% of his body burnt. That boy was David Rothenberg. The incident occurred when Dave's father, who in an act of rage due to a conflict of David's custody with the mother, gave Dave a sleeping pill, poured kerosene on the child's bed, and set fire to it. After setting fire, he watched from a phone booth outside the motel where they were staying at. That was Buena Park, California. And eventually, other people rescued Dave. Michael, having a troubled childhood, instantly became friends with Dave, and they hung out together plenty of times. Now you're probably asking, Tuv, how did conspiracy theorists even come up with the idea that these two were the same person if they're literally right next to each other? You know what? I actually don't even have an answer to that one. Conspiracy theories are weird. You know what the thing is about a lot of conspiracy theories is that if a part of them makes sense and then the other part doesn't make sense, I feel like a lot of conspiracy theorists don't care. They're like, this part makes sense. We're gonna roll with it. But anyway, this is a very popular one. Their main claim to grace were two things: the voice and the look. When it comes to the look, Michael Jackson was known for wearing many convincing disguises to be avoided in public. And when it comes to the voice, shortly after Michael's passing in 2009, Dave appeared on Larry King Live. And I'll start off with a clip of Michael's speaking voice and then one of Dave's speaking voice.
There, as I know of, there is no such thing as skin bleaching. I have never seen it. I don't know what it is.
Well, they used to have those products growing up. I used to hear always.
Why Dave?
Well, to liberate myself from the confines of my father's criminality.
He caused the fire?
Yeah. He is a criminal, and he caused all this.
Yeah, they do somewhat sound alike, but I do think that this theory was just a bunch of people coping and they didn't want Michael Jackson to actually be dead. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how it went anyway. People realized, no, like, my favorite artist is dead. He can't actually be dead. Let me It's gotta be this dude, right? He's playing a disguise. Now that's my conspiracy theory. Dave unfortunately passed away in 2018 from complications of pneumonia. And yeah, like I said, I think this theory was just a bunch of people coping after Michael's tragic passing. But we can't forget that Dave was his own person with his own heartbreaking story that also needs to be validated and acknowledged. Rest in peace to Michael Jackson, and rest in peace to Dave. Alaska. Auroras are all thanks to the University of Alaska. There's a good chance when most people hear the name Aurora, they would place it smack in the middle of a Spanish or Italian soap opera. But it also has a much cooler meaning. Shout out if your name is Aurora, or if you know anyone named Aurora. If your ex is named Aurora, sorry for saying that in this video, reminding you of your ex, but Aurora is such a cool name. I don't know, maybe I might name my kid that. I think Aurora is such a pretty name. But the name actually has a very cool meaning. According to NASA, auroras refer to brilliant ribbons of light weaving across Earth's northern and southern polar regions. A deep dive into history reveals that the renowned Italian astronomer Galileo Galilei recorded the earliest sighting of the northern lights in 1969, naming them Aurora Borealis, after the Roman goddess of dawn, and the revered Greek god of the north wind, Boreas. To paint a clearer picture, think of the magnificent northern lights. In spite of the well-documented facts that explain their occurrences, recent conspiracies have emerged accusing the University of Alaska of having played a role in the manufacturing of the epic auroras sighted in parts of the United States, Canada, Europe, Asia, and parts of Africa. A little context here is that those sightings are unlike the usual one, which happens towards the Earth's poles along its magnetic field. Now, this coincidentally happened during the same period the university conducted an experiment on the HAARP, High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, testing from May 8th to May 10th. You can probably see why those pushing the conspiracy don't believe such a coincidence could happen. Anyway, scientists and theorists at the college and beyond have strongly disputed that the lights could have potentially been a result of the HAARP experiment, insisting that the experiment's output could not have been anywhere near strong to create auroras. Idaho. Bigfoot is a secret government experiment. For decades, Idaho locals and visitors have been fascinated by the Idaho Bigfoot legend. Reports of Bigfoot sightings have surfaced throughout the state, notably in the deep forest and Rocky Mountains, which defines most of Idaho's geography. The legend of Bigfoot, a giant ape-like creature, also known as Sasquatch, is thought to generally inhabit North America, and it's taking a life of its own over the years. In Idaho, residents share tales of encounters and strange footprints, with one of the most well-known sightings being in 1975 in the small town of Buhl. It's said that a party of hunters claimed to have seen a giant creature standing straight in a clearing inside the forest. This specific sighting triggered a surge of attention, resulting in searches, inquiries, and even expeditions into the woods. Some conspiracy theorists claim that the government is aware of Bigfoot's existence and is actively trying to hide it, fearing that the finding of such a monster may destabilize the status quo or perhaps reveal secret government experiments in the woods. Adding to the fascination, various documentaries and reality TV series have investigated Idaho's Bigfoot encounters, incorporating the creature into local tradition. Some argue that Bigfoot isn't simply an undiscovered creature, but rather part of a bigger old narrative associated with Native American culture in the region. The Nez Perce and Shoshone tribes, for example, have their own myths about enormous hairy creatures who roam the woodlands. Despite the disbelief of scientists and mainstream media, the appeal of Bigfoot continues to draw thrill seekers and believers to Idaho's wilderness. The state even holds an annual Bigfoot festival to honor the mythology and allow fans to share their sightings and proof. Nevada. Tupac is alive and out there somewhere. If there's an artist's death that can't be shaken off people's memories, it's Tupac. And yes, X as well. But X gets memed to hell everywhere now. Arguably top among American rappers and also an actor, and in general considered to be one of the greatest and most influential rappers of all time, Tupac died in Las Vegas, Nevada after being shot 4 times. Twice in the chest, 1 in the arm, and 1 in the thigh. This was on September 7th of 1996 at 11:15 p.m. and 27 years later, Dwayne Keefe D. Davis was arrested after a thorough investigation and has been charged with first-degree murder. Some believe that his death just fueled his popularity, with his legend being spoken about for years, and even modern-day artists like Chris Brown, Kendrick Lamar, and J. Cole admitting to drawing their music inspiration from him. Anyway, conspiracies have also risen in equal measure since his death, with people questioning if he actually died or faked his own death and escaped to Cuba or Malaysia. That is an extremely popular theory that I'm sure you heard. Tupac is in Cuba. I think Frank Ocean even said that on one of his tracks. I forgot which one it was, but he's like, "Don't let him find Tupac." Wow, I love Blonde. But yeah, it's just a big theory that Tupac is in Cuba, and there's like some pictures that people take that like, oh my god, this looks like Tupac. This is Tupac. He's living in Cuba. I don't know. Do you guys believe this one, that Tupac just escaped the lifestyle? And yes, by the way, I spoke about this in another video where the Unsolved Mysteries one from every state. And a lot of people were a little bit displeased that I didn't mention that P. Diddy put the hit out for Tupac. Is that even confirmed? I know that Eminem said that in what was it, Kill Shot, where the diss track to MGK. But I don't know if there's any hard evidence of P. Diddy like putting the hit out for Tupac. I know there was beef with Biggie and Diddy was his manager and all that. I know some of the lore, but honestly, with everything that came out about Diddy, I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if Diddy did put the hit out for Tupac, got him killed, and these guys just took the fall because they're the ones that actually did literally kill him. Anyway, I'm yapping. Do you guys believe that Tupac is in Cuba or not? Let's get on to the next one. Utah. Skinwalkers and a portal to other worlds. In Utah, the famed Skinwalker Ranch has been synonymous with strange happenings, making it a hotbed of conspiracy theories and pop culture fascination. This 512-acre ranch in the Uinta Basin is said to be a center for paranormal activity, with reports of UFOs, odd creatures, and unexplainable events. The ranch is rich in Native American tradition, particularly the Navajo belief in skinwalkers, witches, or shamans who can shift into animals. The lore surrounding Skinwalker Ranch has attracted a lot of media interest, so it's been included in a number of films and television shows, including The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch, which delves into the disturbing allegations of both past and present residents. Those who have visited the property report odd lights in the sky, unexplained animal mutilations, and interactions with unidentified beings. These factors have fostered suspicion among conspiracy theorists the ranch is a portal to another realm or a location for extraterrestrial operations, referring to the occupation of aliens in the region. Skinwalker Ranch's spooky stories have inspired everything from horror films to conspiracy podcasts. Arizona. Phoenix lights are extraterrestrial. One of the more fascinating theories from Arizona are the Phoenix lights. They're a group of frequently observed unidentified flying objects, aka UFOs, that came about in the night sky over Arizona back in March 13th of 1997. There was, and still is, a great deal of speculation and debate after thousands of witnesses alleged to have seen an enormous V-shaped configuration of lights gently gliding across the sky. It was one of the biggest mass UFO sightings in history, having been reported by witnesses from as far as Mexico and Nevada. That's in addition to the locals, of course. Some witnesses claimed that the lights were part of a giant UFO, with some even arguing that the thing was so big that it obscured the stars as it flew overhead. These UFOs automatically gained popularity as proof of the existence of aliens amongst us, despite the military claiming that the lights were caused by flares dropped during a training exercise. The military claim didn't help much though, since more and more people, credible ones in fact, came forward insisting that the lights were extraterrestrial. Such even include the governor of the state at the time, Fife Symington, a former pilot and Air Force officer who confirmed that the lights were not, quote, man-made, end quote, as the military had claimed. Montana. Government is keeping Flessie a secret. Flathead Lake Monster. Some people believe that the Flathead Lake in Montana, like Loch Ness in Scotland, is home to a gigantic, serpent-like creature lurking beneath its waters. The creature, sometimes known as Flessie, a reference to Nessie, has allegedly been seen multiple times over the years, dating back to the 1800s. Theories regarding the Flathead Lake Monster include it being a prehistoric creature, such as a plesiosaur, a huge eel, or just an undiscovered species. Fishermen and lake visitors have reported sighting a big black figure moving just beneath the surface, often described as being 20 to 40 feet long. Skeptics dismiss the sightings as misidentifications of sturgeons or logs floating in the water, but believers contend that there is more to the story. Some conspiracy theorists believe that the local government or tourism boards are concealing evidence of the monster's existence to avoid panic or safeguard the lake's reputation as a tourist attraction. Flathead Lake is one of the world's clearest lakes, which adds to the mystery. If the water is so pure, then why can't we see the creature? Wyoming. Wendigo is a ploy by filmmakers. In Wyoming, an intriguing pop culture conspiracy idea revolves around the mythology of the Wendigo, an Algonquian folklore creature that has made its way into modern horror narratives, including popular films and TV shows. While the Wendigo is generally linked with northern woodlands, many theories believe that the sightings have occurred in Wyoming's lonely wilderness, particularly the Bridgerton National Forest. Conspiracy theorists believe that the growing number of reports about the Wendigo is a cunning marketing trick by filmmakers seeking to capture the creepy ambience of Wyoming's vast, remote landscapes. They cite films like The Wendigo from 2001 and episodes from series like Supernatural, which reference the creature, as proof of a cultural fascination with the idea that something malevolent lurks in the shadows of the state's wilderness. This notion takes a hilarious turn when residents remark that Wyoming's difficult terrain is the ideal hiding place for a Wendigo, resulting in cheeky goods such as t-shirts and souvenirs based on the tale. Some even claim that outdoor enthusiasts who venture too deep into the mountains may come upon this fabled beast lurking in the woods, heightening Wyoming's already daring attitude. Colorado. Denver International Airport is the Illuminati's. If there was an award for a location with the most conspiracy theories, it would go to Denver International Airport, popularly known as DIA. The airport is located approximately 20 miles from downtown Denver, ranking as one of the largest airports in the world, spanning over 33,351 acres. Since its establishment in 1995 to replace Stapleton International Airport, it has had to deal with some of the most notorious rumors out there. Allegedly, some theorists believe that the airport was built by the Illuminati, who hid underground bunkers, secret societies, and strange symbols within its murals. Some claim that these murals represent the New World Order for a future totalitarian regime, while others simply argue that it's a form of expression that is meant to evoke emotion like any other artwork. The airport's unusual architecture further fuels the conspiracies, with some theorists linking its runways and buildings in the shape of a relating it to the ideologies. In a real sense, this architecture was specifically designed to celebrate Colorado's unique landscape and culture. It also doesn't help that the airport officials use these ideologies to their advantage by creating marketing campaigns like posters of lizards holding giant drills with the words, "Apologies for the noise. It takes really big drills to get to the underworld." Some people take such campaigns seriously. New Mexico. The Roswell crush was evidence of alien life. In New Mexico, the conspiracy theory surrounding the Roswell alien cover-up has become an important element of both local lore and mainstream culture. The myth began in 1947, when a UFO supposedly crashed near Roswell. Initially, the military reported the wreckage as a flying disc, but this was swiftly withdrawn, and the story changed to suggest it was simply a weather balloon. This abrupt change sparked curiosity, sparking decades of conspiracy theories about government cover-ups of extraterrestrial life. Many conspiracy theorists believe that the Roswell crash wasn't a simple balloon incident, but rather a true encounter with alien spaceships. According to these hypotheses, the authorities salvaged not just the wreckage, but also alien remains, which were then hidden away. The mystery was worsened by the publication of documents and statements indicating that the US government had aggressively suppressed information regarding UFOs and alien contacts. The concept of Area 51, a hidden military outpost in Nevada, also gained prominence, with many believing that it acted as a study laboratory for alien technology recovered in Roswell. As interest in UFOs and extraterrestrial life grew, Roswell became a mecca for alien enthusiasts, with annual festivals commemorating the alleged events of 1947. Hawaii. Niihau restricts access due to secret military operations. When you think of Hawaii, you probably think of a paradise with gorgeous sandy beaches, the bluest water, and beautiful weather all year round. This is an immediate tourist attraction, which is one of the largest economic activities in the island state. However, did you know that not all parts of Hawaii are open to tourists? Niihau, otherwise known as the Forbidden Island, is for example shrouded in mystery due to its ownership and resulting restrictions. Located approximately 17 miles southwest of Kauai, it's the smallest inhabited island of the Hawaiian archipelago, with a population of fewer than 200 people. The island was bought by Elizabeth Sinclair of the Robinson family in 1864, shortly after their arrival on the island from New Zealand, and have since privately owned the land, restricting external access, unless one was born there, is a resident of the island, a member of the Robinson family, or an invited guest. The Robinson family has successfully limited this access by providing basic essentials to its people, including schooling and medical insurance. It's surprisingly one of the only areas in Hawaii where natives speak fluent Hawaiian. The only way one can tour the area is via an air tour. Although the whole idea behind this is to preserve the untouched landscapes and traditional Hawaiian culture, some believe that there's more to this. After the December 7, 1941 attack on Pearl Harbor in Hawaii, a Japanese pilot crash-landed his warplane in Niihau, losing his documents, which has then supported the claims of Niihau being home to secret military options. That since the pilot never retrieved the secret documents from his rescuers. North Dakota. Underground military operations. In North Dakota, the elusive, mysterious underground bunker network is the subject of an intriguing conspiracy theory. Many residents believe that beneath the state's wide plains lies a hidden network of bunkers linked to secret military sites or perhaps private government experimentation. North Dakota's seclusion and vast open expanses make it an ideal setting for such covert operations, reinforcing the belief that these underground stations are quietly dispersed throughout the region. The key component of this notion revolves around the Stanley R. Michelson Safeguard Complex, an outdated Cold War missile defense system in Tacoma. Though officially decommissioned in the 1970s, some conspiracy theorists believe that the site wasn't completely shut down. Strange sounds, strange seismic activity, and unexplainable vibrations in some regions have been interpreted as signs of something far larger hiding beneath North Dakota's peaceful surface. While skeptics point to common explanations such as abandoned Cold War remnants or basic natural occurrences, believers contend that there are just too many unexplained happenings surrounding these mysterious underground constructions. The question remains, what's actually going on beneath North Dakota? South Dakota. hidden treasures in South Dakota's Black Hills. For years, treasure hunters and adventurers in South Dakota have been fascinated by the conspiracy ideas surrounding the Black Hills and the lost gold mine. Legend has it that a buried gold mine in the Black Hills was discovered by a party of Spanish explorers in the 1500s. They purportedly stored a large wealth there, but the mine's location has remained unknown ever since. This myth of buried treasure is rooted in local folklore, with many claims about its location. Some claim the mine is hidden in the rough, deep forest of Black Hills, while others speculate that it's hidden behind Mount Rushmore's famed faces. Over the years, treasure seekers have explored the area with metal detectors and digging tools, enticed by stories of great riches waiting to be discovered. To add to the mystery, some people say the mine is cursed, with fatal consequences for those who seek the treasure. This dread, however, has not discouraged adventurers, as countless individuals have journeyed into the hills, equipped with maps, old stories, and the prospect of becoming wealthy. The story of the abandoned gold mine is intertwined with the larger narrative of the Black Hills, a place rich in Native American heritage and a source of dispute over land rights. Some conspiracy theorists contend that the riches may properly belong to the Lakota Sioux, who regard the site as sacred. While no actual evidence of the mine's existence has ever been discovered, the allure of hidden wealth continues to entice treasure hunters and conspiracy theorists. Nebraska. St. Daroin's fall was more than economic. St. Daroin, Nebraska was once a busy riverboat town, but is now an eerie ghost town covered in local legends. But what if the town's collapse was due to more than just an economic downturn? Some conspiracy theorists say that St. Daroin's desertion was caused by a witch's curse, a dark spell placed upon the town after its final resident, a woman believed to be a witch, was forced to leave by scared residents. According to this conspiracy, locals accused the woman of practicing dark magic, forcing her away in a state of paranoia. Enraged, she repeatedly cast a severe curse on St. Daroin, causing it to wither and die. Soon after, the small town began to fall apart, with crops failing, businesses closing, and the remaining citizens experiencing an unexplained streak of bad luck. By the early 20th century, the once thriving town had become practically abandoned, lending credence to the myth that otherworldly powers were at work. Visitors today recount weird, inexplicable phenomena in St. Daroin, like echoing footsteps, ghostly apparitions, and a palpable sense of dread. Some say these phenomena are the result of the curse, which still hangs over the barren town. Kansas. NFL paid Taylor Swift to date Travis Kelce. Being a celebrity comes with its own share of public scrutiny, typically bordering on invasion of privacy. Taylor Swift has had a share of this too, with the recent round of it being when she started dating Kansas City Chiefs NFL star Travis Kelce. This global attention on the couple allegedly brought in more than $330 million for Travis Kelce's team, thanks to the increased viewership on the games, highlights, and social media videos. Now, Taylor's fans speculated the possibility of the NFL paying Taylor Swift to date the football star, especially after the Chiefs won the AFC Championship game in January of 2024. The NFL boss Roger Goodell has shut down these conspiracies numerous times, even stating that they are nonsense in a BBC Sport interview, further saying that the quote Taylor effect is all positive, and since she's a great performer, she probably loves the NFL because she knows good entertainment when she sees it. Taylor and Travis seem mostly unbothered by these rumors, and both have publicly expressed being happy about their relationship. While addressing her fans, for instance, Taylor has made it clear that people simply don't know the extent of her connection with Travis, and that nobody has ever loved her as sweetly as he does. Oklahoma. Cattle mutilations by aliens. For decades, ranchers in Oklahoma and throughout the US have reported inexplicable and often grisly cattle mutilations. We've talked about these before actually. These instances usually involve the abrupt and unexpected death of animals with precise surgical incisions and the removal of specific organs, leaving the remainder of the animal unharmed. Many ranchers and townspeople believe that these mutilations are the result of extraterrestrial experiments on livestock. This notion has gained popularity because of the strange nature of the mutilations, as well as the fact that many occurrences occur around confirmed UFO sighting locations. Some allege that the aliens collect organs for unknown reasons, creating a culture of terror and intrigue among ranchers. Some, on the other hand, say that these mutilations are the result of natural factors such as wild animal predation, scavenging, or harsh weather conditions. According to some examinations, the precision of the cuts could be attributed to the employment of tools or equipment rather than alien action. Texas. Black cowboys in Texas. This one is more of a history lesson rather than a conspiracy theory, but there are some people that do question history. Texas has been associated with cowboys for eons. However, did you know that they have long been depicted to be rough white guys despite historical evidence revealing considerably a more diverse background involving the other communities? Some supporting evidence is how right after the Civil War in the 19th century, lots of black men worked as cowboys. Most of them were former freed slaves seeking employment in cattle ranches. It's actually estimated that nearly 25% of cowboys in that era were black. Some iconic iconic figures include Bill Paquette, who established the rodeo sport of steer wrestling, and Brunch from Texas, who was recognized for his extraordinary roping skills. Despite their contributions, cowboy tales have predominantly praised white figures, sparking a conspiracy theory that alleges black cowboys were intentionally erased from history. This conspiracy contends that the romanticized image of the cowboy was created to coincide with specific cultural and racial narratives, obscuring the Old West's diverse realities. The idea also emphasizes black cowboys' invisibility in current portrayals of cowboy culture in media such as movies and books. Recent movements to reclaim this narrative have emerged, with documentaries and scholarly publications emphasizing the critical significance black cowboys played in the formation of Texas and American cowboy culture. Minnesota. Vikings once passed at the Kensington Runestone. The Kensington Runestone, discovered in 1898 near Kensington, Minnesota, has been the focus of a fascinating conspiracy theory about pre-Columbian contact between Norse seafarers, aka Vikings, and North Americans. This enormous granite slab, carved with runic letters, is said to depict the journeys of Viking explorers who traveled far beyond their known lands. The inscription describes a Norse expedition that traveled into the center of the continent, implying that Vikings arrived in Minnesota approximately 500 years before Christopher Columbus. The stone's discovery by Olaf Achman sparked a frenzy of attention and debate. Supporters say that the rune gives significant proof of Viking involvement in North America, challenging traditional conceptions of American history. They believe it verifies notions of ancient transoceanic travel, stirring imaginations with the notion that Norse adventurers traversed vast wilderness and established towns and locations previously thought to be uninhabited by Europeans. Skeptics, including many historians and linguists, call the stone a fabrication. They suggest that the language used in the inscriptions indicates a contemporary knowledge of runes that didn't exist in the 14th century. They point out inconsistencies in the carving techniques and the lack of archaeological evidence supporting the Viking settlement claims. Despite this, the Kensington Runestone has firmly entrenched itself in Minnesota's cultural landscape, inspiring legends, discussions, and even an annual festival celebrating its legacy. The stone continues to draw tourists to Alexandria, where it remains on display. Iowa. Man of the Train and the Viesca, Iowa murders. June 10th of 1912 was a dark night in Viesca, Iowa. It's marked in history as a day in which one of the most gruesome murders was committed. Josiah Moore and his wife Sarah, together with 4 of their children and 2 of their neighbors' children, had their heads smashed by an axe in their sleep. Strangest thing about this case is that up to date, it's still unsolved. Now, cold cases have a reputation of stirring up conspiracy theories, and this is no different. One of them is that the suspect might have been mentally ill, or had a grudge against the family, or even a mistaken murder victim identity. Craziest of them all was that the murderer was a serial killer riding the nearby railway, since between the years 1898 and 1912, there was a notorious killer who characteristically killed his victims with the blunt side of an axe in their sleep. The relationship between these murders was highly debated, although it was later found that the victims lived near each other. Some paranormal activity was also subject to speculation, with members of the town claiming that the house had been haunted for years, which might have resulted in the unfortunate deaths. The Viesca Axe Murder House is now a museum and popular destination for ghost hunters and true crime enthusiasts. There's even a movie that was made out of it. Missouri. Sauter family kids were kidnapped? The murder of the Sauter children conspiracy idea has piqued the interest of Missouri residents and true crime fans alike. This strange case dates back to 1945, when a fire destroyed the Sauter family's home in Fayette, killing 5 of their 10 children. Despite exhaustive searches, no remains were discovered, sparking widespread speculation and conspiracy theories. Some suspect the children survived the fire but were stolen, possibly by a human trafficking network. This notion was supported by reports from witnesses who claimed to have seen the youngsters in a nearby town immediately after the fire. Over the years, the Sauter family received several unusual phone calls and letters, one of which claimed the children were alive and well, fueling suspicions to a conspiracy. To add to the intrigue, some experts believe the Sauter family was targeted because of their open political opinions, which were considered as a threat to local forces. The family's belief in the potential of a cover-up prompted them to build a billboard outside their home, offering a reward for information about their missing children, which drew national attention and conspiracy theorists alike. The mystery of the Sauter children continues to inspire speculation, novels, and films, as people are intrigued by the case's unresolved nature. Was it a terrible accident, or was there something more nefarious going on? And look guys, I know this one took place in West Virginia, so why is it on Missouri? Well, one of the sources said that Missouri residents were coming up with theories. Literally could have been I know it could have been anyone that was coming up with theories, but this was a very difficult video to make come true. But yeah, just wanted to be fully transparent about that. I wasn't just gonna be like, Missouri, didn't find anything from Missouri. Like, no, I want every state to have something. That being said, let's continue. Arkansas. The Boggy Creek Monster is real. Did you know that about 8% of Arkansas is a wetland encompassing hundreds of swamps across the state? If you didn't, well, now you do. And the swamps have made their ways into Arkansas's folklore and conspiracies with the legend of the Boggy Creek Monster, also known as the Fook Monster or Swamp Stalker from the early 1970s being one of the main ones. The monster's first alleged sighting was in 1971 when Ford, a resident in Fook of Miller County in southwest Arkansas, reported being attacked by the mysterious creature. Journalists later described it as being a large ape-like creature and hairy resembling Bigfoot. The sightings made national news with other eyewitnesses supporting the claim, including Ford's wife and brother. They apparently shot at the creature, but upon investigations, authorities didn't find any blood to support the claim. Historians suggest that there were sightings even before Ford's back in 1946, when a resident reported to the then Miller County Sheriff, Leslie Greer, that she had seen the same creature around her home. To date, many have claimed to have seen the Boggy Creek Monster lurking in the shadows of the swamps, something which has attracted numerous cryptozoologists and other curious tourists. However, the most famous claimed sightings was that of Ford's in the 1970s, as it even inspired a film, The Legend of Boggy Creek. Louisiana. New Orleans' elite secret vampire lifestyles. In New Orleans, vampire lore intertwines with the city's rich history, resulting in an intriguing conspiracy theory that continues to pique the interest of both locals and visitors. New Orleans is frequently referred to as a vampire haven due to its dark, mysterious atmosphere, gothic architecture, and active nightlife. According to a common conspiracy theory, many of New Orleans' elite, particularly those active in the voodoo culture, engage in rituals to extend their lives by supernatural methods, sparking speculation about blood-drinking activities. Some even claim that specific bars and hangout areas are vampire hangouts, where the immortal congregate to seek new blood and mingle with unwatery travelers. The vampire Lestat, a fictional character from Anne Rice's famed series, cemented New Orleans' status as a vampire capital. Many of Rice's admirers visit the city to pay homage to the locals portrayed in her works, adding to the mystique and attraction of the city's vampire culture. Also, ghost tours frequently feature vampire stories, combining history and the supernatural to entice thrill seekers to investigate the city's darker side. In recent years, events such as the Vampire Ball and themed vampire tours have capitalized on this attraction, bringing together those interested in vampire mythology and lifestyle. Whether it's based on reality or a compelling conspiracy, the vampire lore is now quite undeniably an integral aspect of its identity. And since we're talking about vampires, take a look at Hollis. Doesn't he look like a vampire? He's like the most convincing vampire I've ever seen. But yeah. Anyway, let's head on. Let's head on to the next state. Wisconsin. Ed Gein was not a serial killer. Edward Theodore Gein was born in 1906 on the 27th of August in La Crosse, Wisconsin, to George, an alcoholic father, and Augusta, a superstitious religious mother. Gein, also known as the Butcher of Plainfield, was caught in 1957 for the brutal killings of 2 women and the exhumation of corpses from surrounding cemeteries. It's pretty creepy to note that he deeply loved his mother, and her passing must have psychologically heavily affected him because the women he killed resembled his mother a lot. Gein's case has left an indelible effect on both real crime and pop culture, generating countless films and conspiracy theories. His ghoulish hobbies included creating furniture and apparel out of human skin and body parts, which have tormented the public imagination for decades. He was also strangely into anatomy, especially after his mom's death. Gein's crimes inspired several renowned horror film characters, such as Norman Bates from Psycho, Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Buffalo Bill from The Silence of the Lambs. This connection to mainstream culture has led to an ongoing curiosity with his story, culminating in books, films, and even ghost tours that investigate the case, drawing inspiration from his crimes. Now, a lot of stories and offshoots exist about Ed, but some believe, in a conspiracy kind of way, that he really wasn't a serial killer, that it was his mother and her religion that were behind all of it, and that he actually only killed 2 people, those that were confirmed. Basically, that he only killed 2 people, and not like how it's rumored that he killed hundreds of people, and they're trying to say the mom, the religion, yeah, I don't know. This one's a pretty interesting one, but I've said this before in another video actually. We can't time travel and find out. That's why some conspiracy theories will just always be floating around. With that being said, we are halfway through the video. This was 25, so if you're liking the video, make sure to leave a like. Make sure to tell me what conspiracy theories you're liking so far in the comments below. And again, don't worry about subscribing. I'll learn that by the end of this video. Let's head on to the next one. Illinois. The Illuminati dumped Kanye. So, I'm pretty sure we all know Kanye West, also known as Ye. I'm phrasing it that way because given the extent of his influence from music to shoes and to his relationships, it's hard to imagine someone out there that hasn't heard of him, especially in the US. Even internationally, his hit singles have made him a familiar figure. Anyway, in short, he's also one of the most influential and controversial figures in modern pop culture. He successfully carved his name as a rapper, music producer, fashion designer, and even at a point in his life, as a political candidate. Now with his rise to fame and stardom and just the way he acts, he's attracted attracted conspiracy theories, with some alleging that he has something to do with the Illuminati. Just to squeeze in how I'm tying Illinois to this theory, is that Ye was born in Atlanta but moved to Chicago with his mother after his parents separated. Back to the Illuminati thing though. Some think his music and general mannerisms have often been associated with cryptic messages and imagery, with his outspoken and unpredictable nature being a strong conviction to theorists that he's deeply tied to a more shadowy and powerful secret organization. His famous music videos like Power and Runaway have also been analyzed for symbols like pyramids, all-seeing eyes, and other supposed Illuminati references. To fuel these conspiracies even further, the Illuminati apparently broke off their relationship with the artist now known as Ye due to anti-Semitic statements he's made. Michigan. The Paulding Light is otherworldly. For almost a century, locals and visitors to Michigan's Upper Peninsula have been fascinated and mystified by the Paulding Light. Located near the small town of Paulding, this mysterious light appears on a secluded road at night, described by witnesses as a bright sphere that hovers, dances, and shifts in mysterious ways. The theories behind the Paulding Light are as varied as they are intriguing, ranging from the ghost of a train brakeman who died tragically to atmospheric anomalies caused by the area's unique topography. Some suggest that it could be a supernatural entity based on the region's rich folklore. This phenomenon gained popularity in the early 1900s, when accounts of the light spread among residents. Those who believe the light has supernatural origins frequently narrate tragic incidents related to the adjacent railroad, implying that the light may represent the spirit of a long-dead brakeman searching for a lost train or mourning unfulfilled obligations. Skeptics, on the other side, claim that the Paulding Light is simply a reflection of headlights from motorists passing down a distant highway, discounting the more mystical interpretations. Nonetheless, the mystery of the light has persisted, attracting curious visitors and paranormal enthusiasts who travel the area to watch its mysterious glow. Indiana. Avon Bridge has a worker buried in the concrete. There are rumors that a curse exists on the Avon Bridge, a historic railroad bridge in Avon, Indiana. The Avon Bridge, which was constructed in the early 1900s, for years has been subject to really strange occurrences, with stories mostly of terrible mishaps and hauntings. According to a common myth, for instance, a construction worker was buried inside the wet cement after falling into it when the structure was being built. According to residents, his ghost haunts the bridge. They've heard strange noises at night and seen ghostly figures. These tales have of course also been extremely popularized during Halloween to add some drama to the spooky holiday. Kentucky. Mammoth Cave's tunnels lead to advanced civilizations inside Earth's surface. Conspiracy theorists, particularly those who believe in the hollow earth hypothesis, have taken a keen interest in Kentucky's Mammoth Cave, which is the world's longest cave system. According to this belief, the earth is not a solid sphere, but rather has enormous inside chambers that may be home to advanced civilizations or extraterrestrial life forms. Mammoth Cave is regarded by believers as one of the entrances to the secretive subterranean realm. One theory states that Mammoth Cave's vast and mainly unexplored tunnels may link to other areas of this subterranean world, with its underground chambers and rivers concealing openings to a far more extensive network below the surface of Earth. Conspiracy theorists speculate that ancient civilizations may have entered the interior Earth through the cave and left behind artifacts or mysterious events as evidence of their presence. Some even go as far as to say that the cave might even serve as an operational base for the alien beings. And some others, or maybe the same people, think that we might someday find the gateway that connects us to this secret world. Tennessee. Horror film is really the reality of Tennessee. In Tennessee, a fascinating conspiracy idea surrounds the haunted house of 1,000 corpses, which is linked to the cult horror film created by Rob Zombie. The movie was initially based on the Rob Zombie song, House of 1,000 Corpses. It was also an apparent remake of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Some fans claim that the iconic murderous family cliche in horror films has its roots in true Tennessee history, with stories of strange families that lived in solitude and were rumored to have perpetrated heinous crimes. This theory is supported by urban tales and local folklore, which mention hidden treasures and dark mysteries within the state. Fans of horror frequently speculate that the stories in House of 1,000 Corpses were exaggerated or twisted versions of true events, resulting in a mix of fact and fiction. This theory has spawned a number of independent horror films and festivals in Tennessee, where local filmmakers present their interpretations of horrific legends associated with the state. Mississippi. Secret reason for the Sultana sinking in 1865. The Mississippi River, famous for its haunting beauty and rich history, has long been a source of legend and mystery. Locals believe that the souls of those who died in catastrophic accidents or during the chaotic riverboat era still haunt the waters. One of the most known incidents is the sinking of the Sultana, a riverboat that tragically exploded in 1865, killing 1,547 passengers, many of them Union troops returning home from the Civil War. The accident is regarded as one of the deadliest maritime tragedies in American history. Despite the magnitude of this disaster, it was overshadowed at the time by the assassination of President Abraham Lincoln just days prior. Conspiracy theorists were quick to speculate that the true reason of the Sultana disaster may have been concealed. Some claim that the explosion was caused by Confederate saboteurs. The idea of a hidden motive only fuels the mythology around the Mississippi River. Ohio. Loveland's frogman is a frog mutation. One of the weirdest conspiracy theories regarding the Loveland frogman is from Ohio. According to myth, this odd monster has been observed in the little town of Loveland, which is located on the Little Miami River. The frogman has various descriptions, but witnesses frequently describe it as a bipedal, frog-like monster standing roughly 4 feet tall, with leathery skin and a face resembling a frog or lizard. The most famous encounter took place in 1972, when a local police officer claimed to have encountered the frogman while driving at night. According to the officer, he noticed what appeared to be an animal by the side of the road, but when he approached, the creature rose up on 2 legs, gazed at him, and dashed away into the woods. The police eventually reported the encounter, but skepticism ensued, and the account was widely rejected as a hoax or misidentification. Even so, the Loveland frogman has remained an Ohio legend, with sporadic sightings claimed in recent years. Some conspiracy theorists believe the frogman is some sort of frog mutation, while others say it's a previously unknown frog species that has managed to avoid detection. Alabama. The University of Alabama isn't an actual school. Now, this is one of the more far-fetched theories in this video, but nevertheless, the gist of it is the University of Alabama is a football team, not a college. Yeah. If you go there, the campus is just buildings that are storage rooms for football gear, like jockstraps, and satanic altars dedicated to the legendary Bear Bryant. Now, just a bit about Bear Bryant here. He grew up as an avid football player and lover in Morro Bottom, Cleveland County, Arkansas, then gladly accepted a scholarship to attend the University of Alabama, where he not only played for the college's team, but also went down in history to be one of the most remarkable coaches, later coaching at other colleges and even U.S. government institutions like the North Carolina Navy pre-flight football team. Wow, that one is a tongue twister. Like any other legend, his spirit is said to have continued to wander the university's grounds long after his death on January 26 of 1983, after experiencing chest pains presumably from his record of heavy drinking and smoking over the years. As it is expected for state members to attend college in their home states, many people claim to have never met anyone who has graduated from the University of Alabama despite heartily supporting its football team. You know, I did go out of my way to look up like University of Alabama on Google Images, and you know, I didn't think I was gonna agree with the conspiracy theorists. Not that I fully agree, but it is kind of sus that it's only campus pictures, like empty buildings. There's very few pictures of the students there, but there are, don't get me wrong. But even when I clicked like a random, I didn't even cherry pick. I clicked a random one that I found on Google Images, and that was like campus tour, and it looks dead. The campus looks dead. So please, anyone from the University of Alabama, not if you know someone, if you go there, let me know down in the comments. Let me know that it's not a ghost town. Maybe it is a ghost town, but you just coincidentally go there. But please, let me know that you actually go there and it's not just the football team. Anyway, let's head on to the next one. Maine. The Brown family were vampires. In Maine, the vampire conspiracy theory lends a strange twist to the state's folklore, combining history and the supernatural into a rather fascinating story. The legend, which we also covered in the Urban Legends video, revolves around Mercy Brown, a young woman who died of tuberculosis in 1892, a disease that was widely misunderstood at the time. Following her death, the community began to think that Mercy's condition was related to the deaths of her family members, leading to the strange conclusion that she was a vampire feeding on her relatives. Her body, along with that of her family members, was excavated in the late 1800s due to vampire frenzy. What they discovered led to disturbing conclusions. Mercy's body was exceptionally well preserved, reinforcing the theory that she was a vampire. Community members went so far as to execute rituals to protect themselves from her purported influence, such as burning her heart and combining it with blood to make a potion to rescue her dying brother. Now, just to clarify, this vampire craze was all over the Northeast, so it involved not only Maine, but also Rhode Island, Vermont, and Connecticut. Because they saw that her body was well preserved, they assumed she was a vampire. Let's be honest, she probably was on a good skincare routine, and due to that, they killed her. She was a vampire, guys. You know what, guys? Sometimes it sucks ending the little topics with a joke, because then what else do I do after that? We're gonna fade to black. I'm gonna stare at the camera, and we're gonna fade to black like I always do. We're gonna do that right now. New Hampshire. Betty and Barney Hill abduction was otherworldly. Betty and Barney Hill, citizens of New Hampshire, became pivotal figures in one of the most well-known and contested conspiracy theories in UFO history, their purported alien abduction. While driving through the White Mountains, the Hills claimed they saw a big, silent UFO hovering over them. Shortly after, they encountered a phenomenon known as lost time, unable to account for a 2-hour hiatus in their journey. Betty and Barney both recounted scary and detailed memories of being transported on board the extraterrestrial craft while hypnotized. According to their testimonies, they were subjected to medical examinations, appearances by extraterrestrial beings with big eyes and grayish skin, what eventually we call now just aliens, the classic look of aliens. Betty Hill even recalled seeing a star map within the ship that depicted the aliens' home system, which conspiracy theorists have linked to the Zeta Reticuli star system. This occurrence, known as the Betty and Barney Hill abduction, was the first publicly published story of an alien abduction, sparking a boom of UFO curiosity throughout the United States. Many believers use the consistency of the Hills' memories and comprehensive descriptions of their experience as proof that their encounter was genuine. Skeptics claim that their memories were impacted by popular culture or that the hypnosis sessions resulted in confabulation. Nonetheless, the story remains a cornerstone in UFO conspiracies, with conspiracy theorists believing that the Hills encountered extraterrestrials. Vermont. A veil between worlds exists at the Bennington Triangle. A strange but well-known conspiracy theory in Vermont revolves around the Bennington Triangle, a region in the southwestern part of the state where a series of unaccounted and mysterious disappearances took place in a period of 5 years between 1945 and 1950. It's located between the towns of Glastonbury Woodford and Bennington, covering approximately 100 square miles. The people who have vanished without a single trace have brought up different speculations such as supernatural forces and even alien abductions. The area has been characterized as a place where the laws of reality are shifted and the veil between different worlds is relatively thin, contributing to the strange occurrences. The most famous case is that of Paula Jean Weldon, a college student who disappeared on the 1st of December of 1946 while hiking the long trail near Glastonbury Mountain. Despite the efforts put into her search, she was never found. It's thought to be an area where the laws of reality are shifted and the veil between this world and the other is surprisingly thin, allowing for strange events that have occurred here. Other strange happenings include the reports of strange lights in the sky and even stranger mythical creatures. Massachusetts. Red Sox's losing streak was from Babe Ruth's curse. The Curse of the Bambino is one of the most well-known and amusing conspiracy theories in sports history. It all started in 1919 when the Boston Red Sox sold Babe Ruth, their renowned slugger, to the New York Yankees. Ruth, not just a great player but also a revered figure in Boston, was thought to have thrown a curse on the team after he left. For 86 years, the Red Sox failed to win a World Series, prompting fans to believe the mystical forces were at work, assuring the recurrent close calls and heartbreaks. This curse dominated popular culture, creating merchandising, comedy routines, and deeply ingrained myths that brought Red Sox supporters together and their shared misery and optimism. The curse was notably lifted in 2004, when the Red Sox not only made it to the World Series, but also swept the St. Louis Cardinals, a watershed moment in baseball history. Nonetheless, the Curse of the Bambino legend lives on, serving as a reminder of supporters' strong bonds with their teams and demonstrating how a myth can intersect with sports. Rhode Island. X-Files is tied to legend and reality. Rhode Island, the smallest state in size in the United States of America, ironically has a huge conspiracy theory centered around the popular television show The X-Files and its alleged ties to the state. Many fans believe the show's creator, Chris Carter, was inspired by local tales and unexplained occurrences in Rhode Island. Some feel that certain incidents, particularly those involving government cover-ups, aliens, and paranormal phenomena, are impacted by the state's long history of unexplained events. One particularly intriguing idea proposes that the imaginary town of Derry, Maine, portrayed in Stephen King's It, is based on Bristol, Rhode Island. Fans see parallels between the creepy atmosphere, the prevalence of buried mysteries, and the town's ancient appeal. They suggest that Carter may have drawn inspiration from both the X-Files and King's novels to create a suspenseful and supernaturally charged story. Furthermore, the X-Files has an infamous episode named The Jersey Devil, which takes place in New Jersey Pine Barrens, but draws parallels with Rhode Island folklore, particularly the legend of the vampire of Exeter. Connecticut. Dudley Town is cursed. Dudley Town, a small community in Connecticut that is located in between the rolling hills and Aphotic Forest, has come to take up a name as an apparent ghost town because of the apparently weird occurrences in the township since its inception in 1747. Once a thriving settlement, it was abandoned in the 19th century after, rather interestingly, the Dudley family dragged in a curse they got while in England in the 1500s. The curse led to a series of unexplained tragedies, including cases, bouts of insanity, and paranormal activities such as weird creatures lurking through the dark. 3 of the Dudley siblings, however, moved out of the area and went on to live long, normal lives, dispelling the rumors of the curse. The brother they left behind, however, ended up losing all his fortune and his mind, something that circled people back to the curse conspiracy. Some conspiracists also suggest that these occurrences are linked to the alleged town's history of being a burial ground for the Native American Mohawk people, whose spirits are said to still roam the land that was once theirs. To date, visitors report strange sightings of demonic creatures, eerie noises, and an overwhelming sense of dread in the area. This has gone further to attract ghost hunters and other paranormal investigators. New Jersey. The Jersey Devil is a government experiment. The Jersey Devil legend is one of the most well-known cryptid conspiracy theories in the United States. This creature, depicted as a winged, goat-like beast with a forked tail and flashing red eyes, is claimed to roam the Pine Barrens, a huge forested territory in southern New Jersey. However, some conspiracy theories believe that the Jersey Devil is more than just folklore. It's part of a broader, secret mystery linked to the government experiments and perhaps alien activities. According to mythology, the Jersey Devil was born in 1735 to a woman named Mother Leeds, who cursed her 13th child in exasperation. The infant was born as a monstrous beast that flew away into the night, terrifying locals. There have been several reports of the Jersey Devil over the years, with some claiming that the creature is the result of a genetic research undertaken by secret government entities rather than the supernatural. Others believe that the Jersey Devil is a prehistoric creature from Jurassic Park. The Pine Barrens, with its distant and enigmatic scenery, heightens the attraction of the conspiracy. Locals and visitors have both reported hearing weird sounds and seeing mysterious occurrences in the vicinity. Could the Jersey Devil be the creation of anything darker than myth? New York. Guardian angels were more sinister than initially thought. In New York, the conspiracy theory surrounding the guardian angels and the rise of vigilante justice has attracted the attention of both locals and pop culture fans. Curtis Sliwa formed the Guardian Angels in 1979 in reaction to rising crime rates and perceived weaknesses in the city's police force. In their characteristic red berets and coats, these volunteers headed to the streets, monitoring subway stations and neighborhoods to keep inhabitants safe from crime. While their aims were pure, conspiracy theories quickly emerged, suggesting that the Guardian Angels were part of a broader network of vigilante groups operating in secret throughout the city. Some suspect that these clubs were not only active in discouraging crime, but also in more sinister actions, like forming underground networks to influence local politics or control drug trafficking. This notion is similar to the themes of vigilante justice popularized in films such as Taxi Driver and The Warriors, which depict New York as a battleground for crime and punishment. The Guardian Angels frequently clashed with the authorities, prompting speculation that law enforcement saw them as a threat to the existing order. Some conspiracy theorists believe that the police may have surreptitiously backed or managed these groups in order to instill fear and justify higher law enforcement funding. Social media and documentaries have kept the Guardian Angels narrative alive, highlighting their patrols and turbulent milieu of 1980s New York. This story has taken on a life of its own, weaving reality and fiction together in a way that mirrors a larger culture preoccupation with vigilantism, justice, and the struggle for safety in urban surroundings. Pennsylvania. Shyamalan's films hold secret codes on society. In Pennsylvania, one of the most intriguing conspiracy theories is the M. Night Shyamalan twist. The renowned director of films such as The Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, and Signs has long been associated with plot twists that make viewers question reality. Some conspiracy theorists believe Shyamalan's films include secret messages about the nature of reality, identity, and even extraterrestrial life, implying that movies are more than just entertainment. They're a coded commentary on society. The belief holds that Shyamalan, who is from Penn Valley, Pennsylvania, uses his films to gradually reveal larger truths about the world. Fans believe that his recurrent themes of seclusion and revelation indicate a more expansive knowledge of existence and consciousness. Some feel that The Sixth Sense, with its iconic twist ending, is a metaphor for enlightenment or awakening, whereas Signs provides insights on humanity's place in the universe. This conspiracy has been encouraged by Shyamalan's penchant to keep his story secret, with many audiences examining his films frame by frame for hidden meanings and connections. Delaware. War prisoners still trying to escape Fort Delaware. The Civil War in the U.S. began in 1861 after 7 southern states seceded from the Confederation of States of America, causing a lot of tension between the northern and southern states. The war carried on for 4 years, eventually ending in 1865. It was documented as the deadliest war ever fought on American soil. Like any similar conflict, prisons and detention centers were rampant during the Civil War, with Fort Delaware being one of them. Located on an island on River Delaware, it was built in the early 1800s, serving as a prison for Confederate soldiers. Now, apart from the death, torture, and suffering, some of the challenges experienced in such prisons were overcrowding, unbearable sanitation conditions, mismanagement by prison officials, and scarcity of necessary resources. It's estimated that out of the 33,000 prisoners that were held by the end of the Civil War, more than 2,000 of them died during their stay there. Conspiracists suggest that the spirits of the fallen prisoners roamed the fortress still desperate to escape, and as a consequence, although now a historic site, Fort Delaware has continued attracting a myriad of ghost hunters, some of whom frequent the fortress and have confessed to capturing strange images and recordings that allege paranormal activity. Its isolation as an island makes it even spookier and renders it one of Delaware's most haunted locations. Maryland. Mind control experiments at Walter Reed Army Medical Center. In Maryland, the conspiracy theory concerning the Maryland government mind control experiments has gained traction over the years, even connecting parallels to the popular Netflix series Stranger Things. Many who are for the theory believe that secret experiments similar to those featured in the show took place at the medical center and the National Institutes of Health in the Washington, D.C. metro area. According to the hypothesis, the government conducted secret mind control projects throughout the Cold War, experimenting with tactics such as psychological manipulation, brainwashing, and even telepathy. Proponents of the conspiracy also claim that the trials were designed to create super soldiers and improve military capabilities. This is something which definitely evokes the supernatural components of Stranger Things, where, if you're not familiar, children are subjected to tests to uncover their latent powers. Reports from whistleblowers and leaked papers have also fueled part of the suspicion about the scope of these mind control operations. Some residents believe that weird occurrences and inexplicable disappearances are the result of failed research. Sightings of unmarked government cars and strange activity near research sites have added to this mystery. It's no wonder that the fans of Stranger Things have drawn parallels between the show's fictitious experiments and suspected real-life conspiracies. Virginia, the Bell Witch phenomena and the spirit of Kate Batts. In Virginia, the Bell Witch phenomena has transferred from an old folktale to a modern pop culture conspiracy belief. Originally based on the Bell family's haunting in Tennessee in the early 19th century, the story grew and made its way into Virginia legend, creating an unsettling tale that continues to pique curiosity of paranormal believers today. The Bell Witch is believed to be the spirit of Kate Batts, a local woman who allegedly cursed the Bell family over a land dispute. The haunting became dreadful, with the family claiming odd noises, physical attacks, and even encounters with the spirit. In modern times, this disturbing story has inspired books, documentaries, and even a horror film called The Bell Witch Haunting. Although the Bell Witch originated in Tennessee, its echoes can be seen in Virginia, where local ghost tours and folklore gatherings frequently mention this haunting. Enthusiasts rush to locations thought to be influenced by the spirit's legacy, hoping to catch a glimpse of the supernatural. The myth also garnered traction on social media at some point, with users sharing their ghost hunting experiences and images from alleged haunted spots throughout Virginia. West Virginia. Silver Bridge destructions were thanks to Mothman. So, my West Virginians. What are you guys called? My Virginians. My West Virgins. I have something to tell you guys. We're talking about Mothman, your precious Mothman again. So, if you like it, then you like it. If you don't, then that sucks. In the small town of Point Pleasant located in West Virginia, it's said there's a mysterious creature known as Mothman, which has captivated the imaginations of locals and others alike for decades. Mothman allegedly emerged from the depths of hell and was first sighted on November 15th of 1966 by Roger and Linda Scarberry and Steve and Mary Mallet, who were driving near the abandoned National Guard Armory. The creature would later be linked to a series of destructive occurrences, including the collapse of the Silver Bridge on December 15th of 1967, which killed 46 people. On April 6, 1971, following a thorough survey on the bridge's safety by the Presidential Task Force, the safety board determined the cause of the collapse to be a technical issue in the building, despite the rumors spreading about the involvement of Mothman. But it's clear that many people weren't convinced. Despite the imminent link to doom and destruction, Mothman's conspiracy theory has become so popular and widespread that every early fall in September, the people of Point Pleasant celebrate this myth through the Mothman Festival. I think it's pretty cool to be celebrating the urban legend of your state like that, but to blame, these real people that died and say that it was an urban legend that caused their death, I just think that's incredibly disrespectful. But yeah, this is still a conspiracy theory. I just not a big fan of it. Shout out Mothman, but to blame people's deaths on an urban legend, it's not the way to go. Let's continue with the next one. North Carolina. Brown Mountain Lights are because it's an alien base. The Brown Mountain Lights are a series of ghostly lights that have been seen sporadically for many years around Brown Mountain, North Carolina. The lights were seen at multiple sites in Burke County, roughly 60 to 70 miles northeast of Asheville. Brown Mountain is located within the Pisgah National Forest. Cherokee and Catawba Indians, settlers, and Civil War troops were among the first to report seeing ghost lights. Theories concerning the Brown Mountain Lights range from supernatural to extraterrestrial. Some believe the lights are the spirits of fallen troops or Native American warriors who roam the area as shimmering apparitions. Others believe the lights are generated by extraterrestrial activity, with some suggesting that Brown Mountain is an alien base or a landing zone for spacecraft. Those who believe this notion argue that the light's erratic motions and unexpected disappearances are signs of advanced technology. Skeptics claim that the lights are created by natural phenomena like swamp gas or reflections from distant headlights. However, the constancy of sightings, long before automobiles and modern technology existed, makes this explanation difficult to accept for many believers. Conspiracy theories believe the government may know more about the lights than they admit. They believe Brown Mountain is a site of covert operations, possibly connected to new technology or alien study, and that the mysterious lights are being purposely concealed. South Carolina. Lizard Man is a botched experiment. In South Carolina, the quote, lizard man of scape or swamp, end quote, conspiracy idea has piqued the interest of both residents and paranormal enthusiasts. The rumor began in 1988 when a local young boy claimed to have come upon a strange creature near the swamp. The creature, described as a tall green humanoid with lizard-like features, allegedly left unusual footprints and was linked to a string of cattle mutilations in the region. Since that first encounter, additional tales have emerged with witnesses claiming to have seen the lizard man roaming the swamp at night. Some believe it has bright red eyes and can travel fast through dense undergrowth. This creature immediately became part of local legend, spawning news reports and documentaries. While many doubters believe the sightings are misidentifications of ordinary wildlife or hoaxes, conspiracy theorists have created a more detailed story around the lizard man. Some believe it's not only a cryptid, but a botched government experiment, maybe related to nearby military tests. Georgia. Georgia Guidestones were for a New World Order. Between 1980 to recently in 2022, in Elbert County, Georgia, there stood the Georgia Guidestones. They are sometimes called the American Stonehenge due to their resemblance to the British Stonehenge in England. At an incredible 19 feet and 3 inches tall, and made from 6 granite slabs weighing a total of 237,746 pounds, these were undeniably a definite marvel. They were, however, damaged by an explosion on July 6 of 2022 and were eventually demolished. Their story doesn't end there though, because their origins have been questioned over the years, as it's allegedly unknown as to who was behind their construction. The anonymity has sprung up conspiracies about the original purpose, with one being the idea that a secret society like the Illuminati used the stones to plan for a new world order. To add to the mystery, cryptic messages characterize the Guidestones as they had a set of 10 principles engraved in 8 different languages, like English, Arabic, Hebrew, Hindi, Russian, Spanish, Swahili, and traditional Chinese. These principles were said to have alluded to factors like population control, environmental disaster, and future cataclysm. Florida. The Florida Man phenomenon is due to Florida's climate. From calling 911 after his cat was denied entry to a club, to going viral with his pet chicken, and reporting himself drunk driving, Florida Man has made headlines all over and dominated the meme world internationally. I mean, there's no shortage of uploads everywhere of crazy, hilarious, and even outright sad material on the same. Florida Man and crazy antics go hand in hand. Just so you know, this popular meme culture, if you can call it that, originated from Florida's public record laws, which makes it easy for anyone to access information on arrest reports and mugshots. This often leads to these unusual criminal acts surfacing and going viral and making people, of course, form stereotypes around it. But a different explanation as to why Florida is so is by conspiracy theorists who allege that the prevalence of the strange behavior is because of its unique climate, a lifestyle often riddled by drug addiction, and even the effects of the sun and humidity on people's mental states. Yup, that's the theory for Florida, that Florida men are caused due to the weather. Come on, conspiracy theorists. I was expecting a better one, but whatever. You guys have Florida men. You guys get a meme. I guess you guys got a meme this time. Wow, that's it. That's it. We made it through all the 50 states. Wow. One conspiracy theory for every state. Some of them were on the weaker side. Believe me, it was difficult for us to find one thing for every state, as it always is, but no matter what, we gonna get it to you. And before you click off the video and go watch the Talk to a podcast, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And leave a like, leave a comment. Where are you from? Which was your conspiracy? Were you satisfied with it? Did I miss a conspiracy theory that you guys always talk about and then you're going to correct me? Or did I mispronounce a word and you guys are going to let me know in the comments, Tuv, why did you mispronounce this word? You can easily go on Google and look up the pronunciation of that word. Believe me, I did that like many times throughout this video. And I'm talking about like looking up the pronunciation. I always got to do it. I always got to make sure. Yes, guys, I care about the pronunciation. You guys made me care. That's it for this video. Make sure to set the premiere on for 2 Gay Cats. And I'll see you guys next time I upload.